What if I told you that decades ago, public transportation engineers completely abandoned logic and started building buses that looked like alien war machines, rolling skyscrapers, futuristic spacecraft, and giant steel monsters dragged straight out of science fiction movies? Most people think of buses as boring metal boxes crawling through traffic, but the truth hidden deep inside automotive history is far stranger, wilder, and far more fascinating than anyone could ever imagine. During the golden age of experimental transportation design, engineers around the world became obsessed with solving impossible problems. Cities were growing too fast, roads were becoming overcrowded, fuel was expensive, passenger demands kept increasing, and governments desperately needed larger, faster, stronger, and more efficient ways to move thousands of people every single day. But instead of creating normal-looking vehicles, these engineers unleashed some of the most bizarre machines ever built. They created six-wheeled highway giants, electric monsters permanently chained to overhead wires, double-decker buses with impossible proportions, futuristic coaches that looked like jet aircraft, and mechanical beasts so over-engineered they became legendary nightmares for drivers and mechanics alike. Some of these strange creations revolutionized transportation forever. Others became catastrophic failures so dangerous and impractical that entire design philosophies vanished from history. And trust me, the final vehicle on this list became such a mechanical disaster that drivers openly rebelled against it while its brakes literally burst into flames on public roads. You genuinely will not believe these machines were real. So buckle up, because today we are diving deep into the craziest, weirdest, and most unbelievable buses ever created in automotive history. Starting off our journey is the legendary AEC Routemaster prototype RM1, a vehicle that secretly changed public transportation forever. Before the famous red London double-decker became one of the most recognizable vehicles on Earth, it began life as an awkward and experimental prototype built in 1954. At first glance, the RM1 looked slightly strange and unfinished, almost like a normal Routemaster that had somehow swollen in odd places. The front grille looked flatter and clumsier than later production versions, and the entire bus carried an unusual appearance that hinted at the radical engineering hidden underneath its red body panels. But the real madness was invisible to passengers. During the 1950s, nearly every bus in the world was built like a heavy-duty truck using gigantic steel ladder frames that made vehicles massive, slow, and extremely difficult to maneuver. Engineers behind the RM1 decided to completely ignore traditional thinking. Instead of using heavy truck construction, they borrowed lightweight aluminum aerospace technology developed during World War II aircraft production. The result was revolutionary. The RM1 featured a lightweight integral body structure combined with fully independent front suspension, something virtually unheard of for commercial passenger transportation at the time. In simple terms, the engineers accidentally built a gigantic 64-seat sports car disguised as a city bus. It cornered better, handled better, accelerated more smoothly, and felt dramatically more agile than anything else on the road. The RM1 became the foundation for the legendary London Routemaster fleet and proved that buses did not have to feel like giant farm machinery anymore. But while Britain was experimenting with lightweight city buses, America was building something completely different: gigantic highway monsters designed for endless cross-country travel. Enter the legendary GMC Buffalo PD 4107, one of the most recognizable highway coaches ever built. If you visited a Greyhound station during the late 1960s, this machine was impossible to miss. Towering over surrounding traffic, the Buffalo looked exactly like its nickname suggested: a giant mechanical buffalo charging down American highways. Its most bizarre feature was the strange stepped roof design, where the rear passenger section suddenly rose dramatically higher than the driver's cabin. Wrapped in shiny aluminum panels with heavily tinted windows, the bus looked more like a silver spaceship than public transportation. But the strange humpback design actually solved several major engineering problems at once. GMC engineers wanted passengers to sit higher for better panoramic views, while simultaneously creating enormous luggage compartments beneath the passenger floor. By raising the rear seating section, they achieved both goals perfectly. Hidden underneath sat a screaming Detroit diesel 8V71 V8 engine, a massive two-stroke powerhouse famous for its legendary roaring exhaust note that echoed through bus terminals like thunder. Riding inside a Buffalo became the ultimate American road trip experience.